Ruffers, Josh Blankenship. Football season just continues to roll on, and now, Josh, we're into the games that really matter as far as the remainder of the 2011 season and the goals for this football team.
Well, they all matter, but we're kind of definitely getting to that point where it's win or go home. We've decided that this is our playoff run, and it starts now. We very much could still get in the playoffs with another loss, but essentially we'll be in a tiebreaker situation that we don't even want to mess around with and put our destiny in somebody else's hands. So we want to continue to control our own destiny, and to do that, we feel like we've got to win out.
Well, you talk about the first game in district play, the overtime win over Southmore, then the narrow miss against Broken Arrow at home 2 weeks ago, and then last Friday night's loss to Jenks. Still, though, all those goals that you've talked about with this football team since the start of the season are still right there in your hands.
Well, we want to get in the postseason play, and the only way we can achieve that big dream of making a run at that gold ball is you got to be in the tournament. You know, you got to be in it to win it, as they say. So
Sure.
We got to put ourselves in position to do that, and we want to get as high a seed as possible. Beating Southmore first district game of the season put us in position to be able to do that. Obviously, not coming through against Broken Arrow or Jenks puts us behind the 8 ball a little bit, but we've got 4 more opportunities to seal the deal.
Well, you certainly got those opportunities in front of you, but Norman, was the result of Norman losing to Southmore, did that improve the chances, or does it just kind of leave it where it was?
It kind of confuses things a little bit,
Right.
because now you've got a possibility of coming into a 3-way tie if Norman continues on with the season they expect to have, if Southmore continues on, and if we do the things we expect to do. You could end up in a little weird 3-way tie for a 3rd and 4th seed, assuming Broken Arrow and Jenks continue to do what they do. So it's a situation that we need to win out to not even put ourselves in position to be in a tie with Southmore and Norman.
Of course, what all that would come down to is the points of who wins by up to 15 points. And what a lot of people don't remember is that in overtime, you can only lose 1 point, you can only gain 1 point. So with the narrowness of the first 2 games in the opening rounds of district play, obviously the point totals begin to have some major importance, and that kind of will play into this week's ball game, which we'll talk a little bit later about here in this half hour. But as we get our program started this week, we want to go back 1 week. We want to go back to last Friday night's trip to 100 Wally Stadium. And Coach, I think you said it best, opportunity missed.
That's exactly what it is. We had an opportunity not only to, improve our status within the district, but we had an opportunity to go knock off somebody that a lot of the people in the state think is one of the best. We missed it. We started off pretty strong, forcing them to punt the ball, bleeding out a quarter and getting points on the board. Continued that in the second quarter with, again, forcing them to punt the ball, not allowing any points on the board on their end, bleed another half of the quarter out, and get points on the board again for us. And then after that, we kind of relaxed and let the Trojans do what the Trojans do.
And they came away with the victory. But there were some offensive moments in last Friday night's ball game. We're going to take a look at some of those highlights now. As we bring up the package, Coach, I'll just let you do the play-by-play.
Started off the game early. We knew we wanted to get the ball in Vic's hands, obviously. We know we wanted to go to sideline to sideline to make those big boys up front have to move and chase us. We did that efficiently. Obviously, to do those things, you've got to have great blocking on the edge. We knew once we got them moving, we could do some things in the interior. But ultimately, it comes down to making plays in clutch situations, which we did. We get great blocking there to extend the drive. We had a few 3rd down conversions. Trevor obviously had a great game, and we'll be visiting with him in a little while. But for him to deliver the ball, especially in clutch situations like he has the past 3 weeks, allows us to do what we did on the first 2 drives of the game. We marched down and get ourselves in field goal position, and with the kicker that we have, we know we don't have to get greedy. We got to get points on the board.
Sure.
Victor, again, coming up with a great catch on a 3rd down conversion. Obviously, that doesn't happen unless we're protecting up front, and the guys did a great job with those D linemen they have are some of the best in the state, and for us to contain them, especially early in the game, I knew we could do some special things offensively.
It's kind of nice to see that protection take care, and then to see the decisions made. Again, like you mentioned, some clutch catches, Aaron Fowler, Anthony King, and then, of course, you see Fowler making that catch. You saw Victor making his catch. Nice little play-action series here, and a nice throw and catch downfield and holding on the football after contact.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to talk to Trevor, and he's played really well the past 3 weeks, but he'd be the first to tell you the guys around him are playing so much better. When they're doing their jobs, it makes his job a lot easier. obviously when you got a kicker like we've got right here in Preston Soper, I believe he was your radio player of the game.
Sure was.
He's just become really clutch for us. Not only we know about the talent that he has in that leg, but for him to be clutch, especially in situations where we might have a bad snap and him be able to scoop up the ball and still get that ball off and not just get it off, but be a positive thing. He's really become a great weapon for us.
Well, the guy that's sitting right behind us is the guy that actually starts every play. Yeah, the center actually snaps the football, but it's the guy here that calls the cadence. We bring in the quarterback of the Muskogee Ruffers, Trevor Giles. Look back at it, Trevor, and tell me your overall observation of last Friday night's ball game against Jenks.
I feel like we started off fast and started off hard, and we didn't finish.
Now, throughout this season, first part of the season was a little bit of a rocky road, but things have gotten better. And I guess that's more because of self-confidence or just experience in the position.
Well, not only because of my confidence, but the offensive line, I think they've really stepped it up. Receivers have come up with bigger catches, and they're playing lights out now.
Now, as you were waiting in the gun, or even when you go up under center and you see those two big hogs that were across the line from you that were snorting, just ready for the snap of the football, what was going through your mind?
JB, please block. Mel, please block.
Exactly. But that relationship is so unique, and it's what has to happen. And I appreciate the fact that you mentioned the fact that your guys up front gave you great protection, and then go a little bit more with Bradley McGee and others that kind of stay in there too sometimes in the package to give you that added protection. Just let you sit back there, be calm, and kind of walk me through your progression of decisions as you look across the field.
Well, every play I have a read key, and I'm looking at my read key, and I kind of decide who I throw to, which way he goes. And
we've seen a lot of maturity from this young man as the season has gone on, week by week by week. I mean, at the first of the year, I think there might have been some questions in his mind. I'm sure there were a lot of that in the fans. But as the season has gone on, Josh, this man is maturing game by game, day by day.
In the biggest games, too. You look at where he's played well. He's played really well against Southmore, Broken Arrow, and Jenks. And he's had his best games against those and probably the best competition that we've seen to this point in the season. The biggest thing he's doing really well is we talk about a plan and a backup plan. You've got your plan of who you're going to key based on your pre-snap read, but for him to have a backup plan, sometimes as simple as just scrambling or throwing the ball away, that's where he's, the fans don't notice those things.
Sure.
But in our grade book, some of his best plays are the ones that he throws away and lets our drive continue on.
Yeah, not trying to force it in there
Right.
or throwing it up for grabs, as
Right.
we've seen other quarterbacks do at times. Tell me about the relationship that you're developing with Coach Blankenship, because he is your position coach, and you spend an inordinate amount of time together going through keys for the victory, but also talking about what to do in certain situations. Knowing that he played the game, obviously, I guess that you think maybe, okay, this guy's walked in my shoes.
yeah, he's done everything that I'm doing and want to do, and he knows how to get there and what to do. And I think it's really good that he's kind of like my role model.
So, obviously you get a chance to bring back some of those playing memories for yourself, but that obviously helps in your relationship with the player too, I have to think, Josh.
Well, I know what he's dealing with, and I know the pressure that comes with it, and it's pressure that he wants. The quarterback gets more credit than they deserve, and they get more blame than they deserve. But at the same time, the great ones want that. They want that responsibility and that pressure, and he's that guy. So I can definitely relate, and especially as being a junior in 6A football, there's a definite learning curve that comes with it. And we talked about that before the season started. But for him to stay poised and even kill and persistent, that's why he's having the success that he is now.
Well, when you have those big linemen coming at you, that linebacker or corner coming on a heavy blitz, how do you stay so calm, cool, and collected and go through those progressions?
I just trust the O-line, and I think they have my back, and let's just stay calm and let them do their job.
Now, the other side of the game is we saw in last Friday night's game, the last couple of games, you're showing a little bit of foot speed as well, and being able to take that football on a quarterback draw or force from the pocket. You're not afraid to run it up inside.
Well, it's a lot easier when you got huge guys chasing you.
So in other words, they're not as fast as you, right?
They're not as fast, but they're bigger than me.
Exactly. Trevor Giles, the starting quarterback for the Muskogee Ruffers, who's been our guest here in this segment. When we come back, Coach Blankenship and I are going to take a look at some of the defensive highlights from last week's ball game, and there were some bone-jarring tackles in the contest against Jenks, and you'll get a chance to meet our champion of the week. We'll do all that after this timeout. You're watching Muskogee Ruffer Football Coaches Show here on TV 15. Welcome back on TV 15, Muskogee Rougher Football Coaches Show. Bill Huddleston along with the head coach of the Muskogee Roughers, Josh Blankenship. You know, last week we saw a lot of emotion, a lot of intensity coming from the defensive side of the Trojans. And they've got some talented players, there's no denying that. But there was equally that same type of expectation and emotion and intensity coming from the guys wearing the Rougher helmet.
No question, and I'll definitely take our guys. We came with the mentality that we were going to hit, and we were going to hit hard. And that's certainly what we did.
Well, there were some bone-jarring tackles throughout the contest. We're going to take a look at some of those defensive highlights, and some of those still kind of make you cringe when you watch the contact, Coach, as we take a look at some of the video highlights from last Friday night's game, the Jenks and Muskogee defensive plays.
Citrell Grayson actually was our defensive player of the game, and mainly because of stuff like that play right there. Extremely fearless.
13
flying
tackles,
down.
I believe, all.
Yeah, and just brutal hits. Flying around, hitting people. Vic right there with the pass breakup. Obviously, he'd like to have that one back because he thinks he could probably take that the other way for 6. Comer, one of our linebackers, obviously has been playing well all year. Great job of leaving the box and then coming back and making the play, sticking that tailback right there, meeting him in the gap. West Star has just been phenomenal all year long, and he hits like this.
Boom.
And when you do that, guys are going to question catching that ball out in the flats.
Absolutely. They're going to feel it long after that day.
Kyle Lewis playing a lot of nose guard for us. You know, Kyle's a big old boy, and they have trouble moving him around. So when he slips off, a lot of times he can snatch that running back out before he can slip past him. He's playing really well. I think we got another big key hit right here by Sid, and I think they went for it on 4th down, if I remember correctly.
That's it. That's the 4th down
huge
stop.
plays, and we got to continue to build on those because those are huge. When you stop the Jenks Trojans on 4th down, and they believe that they're going to go convert that thing, and they've got that confidence in their offense, it's demoralizing to them when you make that, not only that kind of hit, but that kind of 4th down stop, and we got to do more of that. Great play by Xavier Hunter there and Kyle Lewis. On a really, you know, that guy's their backup tailback, but he started a lot of schools in the state. Really good player. Guys just making plays over and over and over again, and it sounds like we keep saying it, but we got to have more of it.
Yeah, just more of it each and every game. And one of the guys that gets a chance to do that when the Roughers are on the field defensively is the guy that's between the two of us here, Chandler Heath, who's not just here because of his defensive play, although it was another bone-jarring effort, Chandler. But he's here for another purpose too, Coach.
He's our champion of the week, and champion of the week is not something we take lightly. It's something we discuss as a staff thoroughly. He's actually kind of been kept on the back burner a little bit because we don't want people to think he was chosen because he's a coach's kid. I'm a little biased to the coach's kid,
Sure
you know, whatever you call it, the coach's kid mentality, because I am one.
It's kind of like being a preacher's kid, right?
It's probably a little similar, but you already people perceive that you're going to get playing time because your dad's the coach, or you get special treatment because your dad's the coach. And honestly, a coach's kid probably has to earn it a little bit more because the coaches, as fathers, they don't want people to think that about their kids. And so he has had to earn everything he's gotten. And he persists, doesn't complain. He's one of our leaders, and he does everything right on and off the field. And we're incredibly proud to have Chandler as our player champion of the week.
Chandler, okay, now, I say coach's kid. What pops into your mind?
My dad going crazy all day.
But that's a unique relationship and a very close relationship that the two of you guys enjoy a whole lot.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how close that is, because I know it's not just there in practice, even though he is your position coach as the defensive line coach, but it's something that you guys can share once you leave Indian Bowl.
Yeah, I definitely get more coaching at home. We sit there and watch film on the computer every night and do stuff just to work on my D-line stuff. We'll see each other in the at home and work D-line stuff. Just he tries to block me at home, and I'll just try to get away from him and stuff.
From his dinner.
Yeah.
And Mom's there with the yellow flag, right?
Yeah.
Now, you get a chance too to hear the comments of your teammates, and you hear them say about this coach or about that coach. Knowing that Dad's one of the coaches that maybe sometimes is in that conversation, how does son stand up and defend his honor?
Well, we really don't have all our kids respect our coaches, and I really don't even hear anything bad about any of the coaches.
That's the good thing about this football team, Josh, is that everybody is on the same page, coaches, players alike. It's more like the father-son relationship, or it's more like that close-knit family.
We talk about family all the time and playing for one another. And one of the things we talked about a few weeks ago, I think it was going into the Southmore game, was we as coaches have never asked them to play for us. We've asked them to play for each other. And since that point, they have been doing that. And unfortunately, the past 2 weeks, we've gone against two really good opponents where we haven't had the W. But I think you're getting ready to see a string of Ruffers on the W side and making a playoff push for something special.
He's sitting here almost with clenched fists because he's ready to get in the game,
Me
Coach.
too, man.
I mean, but that's the type of emotion that Chandler brings to the ball game. But when we say champion, what comes to mind?
Just a whole bunch of stuff that my dad's talked about, just like doing everything right. Doesn't matter if it's on the field, at home, away from home, like any sport, just doing right.
You know, I could tell a lot of stories, but I'll keep them off the TV show.
Yeah.
But I mean, here's a young man that I've actually got a chance to watch grow up personally and develop into a leader, not just as a player, but also on this football team. And it'd be nice to have a whole bunch of number ones.
I'll take them anytime.
Chandler Heath, defensive end, our champion of the week, here with us in this segment of the Rougher Football Coaches Show. When we come back, got some people in the community, Coach, that have got a few more questions for the coach. They want to find out more about you, from your growing up days to your days now on the sideline as the head football coach of the Muskogee Ruffers, growing up as a coach's kid. We'll do that when Rougher Football Coaches Show continues here after the break on TV 15. Welcome back, TV 15, Muskogee Rougher Football Coaches Show. Bill Huddleston along with the head coach of the Muskogee Ruffers, Josh Blankenship. Josh, I know this is your first season, and the season is flying by. We're already into week number 7. But there's still a lot of people out here in the community that have not got to know this coach's kid. And you talked about that in the earlier segment. But some of our young Ruffers of the future want to ask a few questions of you, and we're going to go to some of those questions now for head coach Josh Blankenship.
Hi, my name is Maya. I'm in 3rd grade. Coach Blankenship, did you have a favorite toy when you were a kid?
I had a lot of favorite toys. I'd say a lot of footballs and basketballs would obviously be the easiest one. I was a big He-Man fan, and I had a He-Man set. He had a sword, and we had a castle, and He-Man was the man. So.
Indeed. All right. Next up on the list.
Hi, my name is Kendra. Coach, why did you want to be a football coach?
Why be a football coach, Josh?
Good question. I grew up around it. That's really all I know. My grandpa was a coach. My dad was and still is a coach. I knew if I wasn't going to play, I was going to coach. And I played as long as I could and started coaching as early as I could, and it's what I've always known I was going to be.
Now, did you coach your brothers when you were at the house and kind of getting them in the right spots? Because I'm sure you played football there at the Blankenship house.
One thing I was never shy about was being the boss. So I definitely coached up my brothers. Even had the opportunity my first year coaching. I got to coach my youngest brother his senior year in high school.
But you've given up those boss responsibilities to Lindsay now, right?
She definitely, I wear the pants in the family, but she lays them out in the morning.
Yeah, she decides which shirt he's going to wear here on our coach's show each and every week. How about our next question?
Hi, my name is Paige. What do you like to do on your spare time?
Well, we were just talking about it. It's family for me. I don't get a whole lot of spare time, especially during the football season, so every moment I can get, it's hanging out with my wife, Lindsay, and then my 2 kids, Barrett and Gracie.
So you can tell for a coach, whether you're a coach's kid or you're a coach, there's not much spare time, but when there is spare time, Josh likes to stay at the house.
No question.
Exactly. Hey, we got a big week coming up. This is week number 7. Hard to believe that we're already into the 7th week, but now this week, the standings going into District 6A3 still have the Ruffers right there with the game still in your own destiny.
Oh, no question. We've gone through what we feel was the most difficult part of our district play. Those teams that are currently have a 1-game lead on us, Southmore and Norman, we still get to play Norman, and both those teams still have to play the gauntlet of the district that we've already faced. So we're definitely in position to go make a run at this thing and not only get in the playoffs, but have a great seeding in the playoffs. And that's been our goal, and it's right there in front of us, and we've got to go take it.
I think we've got a little stat that we can take a look at the actual standings. You can see Jenks there with the 45. Now that's the plus-minus points you get from winning district games. You can win 15, you can lose 15. Broken Arrow in second place at 31. Southmore with 17, Norman with 15. But like you said, Southmore's got to play Broken Arrow this week, and still they have to both play Jenks before it's all said and done. Norman with the plus 15. Muskogee with the minus 15, and then you got Shawnee, same situation. 1 and 2, and then Sapulpa at 0 and 3. And what you don't see on the list there is Putnam City West. So, a lot of things that can change that before this whole deal is done. But as you've said all season long, take care of your own responsibilities, and the cards will play out.
We want to go 4-0 in the next 4